Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz. Hey, it is Thanksgiving, November 23, 2017 at 12:23 a.m. in Birmingham. And topic is schools, problems, marijuana, prayer. In that order. Let's just say school problems, maybe street problems, maybe just problems in our country. Has nothing to do with marijuana. Maybe it's got everything to do with prayer. Have you thought about that? Let me tell you about the conversation going on between the state of California and the state of Colorado today. You have pros and cons. Pro California, they're pulling for it. They said if you make it legal, then it's not a felony charge other than, outside of being a recreational use. So if you're caught with, I'm going to take a guess, recreational use, if you have an ounce, they let you go. If you have a pound, well, they're going to charge you with something else. But I don't think it should be a class 1 felony. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. In Colorado, the guy that also is a pro on this, he talks about there's no higher crime rate going on. Well, the point is everybody in California is crazy. You know that because it's full of Democrats. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm agreeing with a guy in California. Now, the con in Colorado says, no, we should not legalize it here any more than what it is by medical use. But yet they're trying to, but there's people fighting against it. And the people fighting against it's talking about lower SAT scores, lower school attendance, lower or fewer people graduating school, higher crime rate on the streets. And he goes on to call out a list, an array of things that hurt. Well, neither one of the two, the pro nor the con, mentioned the real problem. The real problem occurred when they took prayer out of schools. That is much stronger for the good than marijuana or for happy dope or whatever you want to call it. If you put prayer back in the schools, there'll be less marijuana use automatically. There'll be fewer people drinking and getting stoned. There'll be fewer people robbing people at stores and convenience stores. There'll be fewer murders standing on the street corners on the weekends to see how many they can shoot, like in Chicago. There'll be fewer people driving down the street, running from the law at 100 miles an hour. There'll be fewer people in crime overall if they're in a school growing up reciting the Lord's Prayer every day from the first grade until they get out of high school. When they get out of high school, you'll got that 12 years. At the end of that 12th year, it would blow you away to imagine how much crime rate would have dropped. There'll not be anything like it is today. It'll drop by 90%. If you don't believe it, look at the statistics between when they took prayer out of schools. Give it a time. Those who, for me, for example, in my 8th grade in 1964, Lord's Prayer every day. Salute the flag every day. Got into high school, there was no prayer. But I spent 8 years reciting prayer. And I continued after that. Those who spent that 8 years without prayer, fewer people went to church after that. There was higher crime rates. There was more people that you saw that grew up behind you, like so-and-so's little brother said, he did all that. Well, attach that to a man without prayer or a child without prayer. If you put prayer back in schools, the United States of America would turn on a dime, higher SAT scores around the world, higher graduation, higher school attendance, less murders on the street corners, less robberies taking place, less gangs, and you name it, on and on and on. Everything would drop by 90%, just like it went up by 90% when you took prayer out of schools and then you started killing the babies inside the mother and giving it to Baal for Satan to have food and ammo against those kids that's shooting people on the streets. That's the cause and effect of everything. Put prayer back into schools and you'll watch your child start growing back up normal. 90% of you. There's 10% idiots out there and 90% liberal liars that are idiots. Well, liberal liars, all of them are idiots. But the point is, put prayer back into schools and you'll see a recovery in your nation. One that you could not imagine. You know why? It's God's promise. Guys, do it. Donald Trump going to end abortion, reverse Roe versus Wade. He's going to put prayer back in the schools. And Roy Moore is going to bring the 10 Commandments back on every public place, including courthouses. You put your left hand on the Bible, your right hand up, you swear to God to tell the truth. If you don't, you'll get hit right here and you'll feel it. Jody Wolf, Expoz, and happy Thanksgiving, guys.